Shalom, all praise to Yahweh Bashim Shah, double lines to the Apostle GMS. This is Amna Allah coming at you another video. In this video, I'm going to be focusing on the topic of vainglory. You know? And we're going to go into the meaning of what that word, So let's begin. Philippians chapter 2, verse 3. Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory. Look at that word strife and look up vainglory.
Strong's G 2052, Erithia.
Right? Electioneering or intriguing for office. Apparently, in the New Testament, a courting distinction, a desire to put oneself forward, a partisan, a fractious spirit who does not disdain low arts, partisanship, fractiousness. What does that word fractious mean? Gotta look up these words. Fractious, typically of children, irritable and quarrelsome. So strife is being quarrelsome. So you don't want to be a quarrelsome individual. And it also said courting distinction, a desire to put oneself forward. So that's another aspect of strife, putting yourself forward. You know, I want to be the #1 guy. Look at me, everybody. I'm a superstar. You know, that kind of mentality. You ain't right. If that's what you think, you ain't right, man. You read on, it says, the same word was found before New Testament times only in Aristotle. It says where it denotes a self-seeking pursuit of political office by unfair means. Paul exhorts the church to be one in the mind of Yahweh Shai, not putting self forward or being selfish. So it says self-seeking pursuit of political office by unfair means. It's like a person it's like a politician who's running for office, but they seeking unfair means to get to get in that office. They taking underhanded campaign donations. Well, you know, if you paid me this under the table, then I'll pass this law for you. If you pay me this under the table, I'll use my power to get some votes thrown your way. You know, if you pay me some of this, I'll make sure that when it's my time to no longer be in this particular political position of office, I'll make sure that on my way out, you know, I'll big you up. I'll say, you know, as my time to stand down, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna promote you as the best candidate to take my place. It's like a governor or a senator or a mayor about to step down, but it's another mayoral candidate who wants to run, and they go and they big them up to the public. They speak good on their behalf because that person did some unfair means to help them get in office. You understand? That's why it says electioneering or intriguing for office. So let's go back. And it says vainglory. What does that mean? You gotta look at this word.
Strong's G 2754, Kenodoxia.
It says vainglory, groundless, self-esteem, empty pride, a vain opinion, error. So it says self-esteem, groundless. So vainglory is empty pride. You're looking for glory, but it's vain. It's empty. Because why? You're seeking glory from men. Look at me, everybody. I'm deep in these scriptures. Look at me, everybody. I fast 3 days a week. That's vainglory. Now this is from the word vainglory from the International Standard Bible Encyclopedia. Vainglory is the translation of kenodoxia, empty glory or pride, nearly akin to vanity in the modern sense. That's what we really need right there. It's vainglory. It's glory, but it's vain. It's glory, but it's empty. People might look at you and, you know, congratulate you, give you applause, but it's really empty because that's the only glory that you're going to get. It's going to be from man. You're not going to get the glory from the Most High. So trying to get men's applause, it's not going to get you into the kingdom. You're ultimately seeking for the validation of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. That's what you're supposed to be seeking. Let's go back to the scriptures. Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind. Lowliness of mind. In other words, to be meek, to be humble. In lowliness of mind and humility. Let each esteem others better than themselves. So guess what? You're supposed to. That's a person who thinks in lowliness of mind. They're esteeming someone else better than them. They don't look at themselves like they're the top dog, so to speak. That's the mentality that you're supposed to have. You've had guys that been in the truth years ago when I first came in, well over a decade ago, that's gone. And they show those signs of looking for vainglory. Guy been in the camp 3 years, thinking and moving around like he been in the camp 7 years. And I'm using it as an example of years ago, like when I was in the camp for 7 years, and you had guys that was in the camp 3 years, 2 years, 4 years, thinking they running around, thinking they, been around as long as you've been around. Thinking they could do what you can do. You had guys that was in the camp, and then they wanted to split and then do their own thing, and then they all fell down because none of them was in the spirit. They wanted to go and do their own thing because they wanted vainglory. They wanted to be the ones to, stand on the outside of the camp, telling brothers to get this scripture, to get that scripture, to interject and break it down this way and break it down that way. They wanted to have their face all in the videos. They wanted to be all in the videos, dancing. That's what they wanted, ultimately. And you could see that early on. Especially when you're in a camp for years and years and years. You can see it in an instant. Sometimes in your mind, you look at a person, man, this guy ain't gonna last long. And then guess what? He's gone. Just like that, he's gone. And you're not surprised because you already saw it beforehand. Because while you're experiencing the truth, you've seen it before, so you understand the patterns. And when you understand the scriptures, you know that there are certain things that the Most High doesn't approve of. You know when the individual in the camp is doing something that's not approved by the Most High, you know that, guess what? They're not going to be approved by the Most High. Therefore, they're not going to be around that long. And it happens all the time. And none of those guys ever think that they're that guy. None of them ever think that. Because they only fear the eyes of men. Right? Romans 12:3. For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think himself more highly than he ought to think. So you're not supposed to think yourself higher than you ought to think. Like these damn women out here. I'm a queen, I'm a goddess. They out of their damn mind. You're not supposed to be thinking like that. Don't think of yourself highly than you ought to think. Because guess what? The Most High will humble you quick and show you that you're not who you think you are. But to think soberly. See? Because what happens when a person is drunk? They're not sober. And when a person is drunk, what happens? They have what they call liquid courage. Their confidence level goes through the roof. You would think that a person that's 5'6", 130 pounds would know better not to challenge a dude that's 6'6", 230 pounds. Yeah, maybe if he's in his sober mind, he's self-conscious enough to understand that more than likely he can't win that fight. But if he's drunk, he's not sober-minded. Therefore, he's not self-conscious of the reality of his own limitations. Because when a person is drunk, what happens? It let loose of all your inhibitions. It let loose of your self-control. It let loose of your lack of you having awareness. It lets loose of your self-consciousness of your own limitations. A person that's drunk think they could, jump off of a high height and land safely. A person that's drunk will try to go and hug a dog that's foaming at the mouth, barking at them and growling. Okay? Because when you don't have any control of any of your inhibitions, what happens is you no longer have any self-consciousness. You no longer have any self-awareness. So you don't behave in like a relaxed kind of manner. You don't behave in a manner as if you're prudent, as if you're modest, as if you're wise, as if you're knowledgeable. You don't behave in order, you behave out of order. But to think soberly according as the Most High have dealt every man the measure of faith. Like the measure of faith, the level of wisdom, knowledge, understanding that we have in this truth. You're supposed to think in according to that. And thinking in according to that is what? Taking heed to the scriptures. Which means you're supposed to be what? Sober-minded. This is how you're supposed to be. This is how you're supposed to be. 1 Corinthians 4:7. For who maketh thee different from another? And what hast thou that thou didst not receive? What you got that you didn't receive? In other words, what did you have that you got on your own? Nothing. Now, if thou didst receive it, why doest thou glory as if thou hadst not received it? So if you received it, or if what you have was given to you by Yahweh Shema Shah, why are you glorying as if you didn't receive it? Meaning, why are you glorying as if you got it on your own? You always got to remember that. This thing is a gift. The glory goes to the giver, not to the person that the gift was given to. I'm gonna say it again. The glory goes to the giver of the gift, not, which is the Most High Yahweh Shema Shah, not to the person that the gift was given to. I'm gonna say it again. The glory goes to the giver of the gift, not to the person that the gift was given to. And you have to remember that. All right? So that's something that you're supposed to take heed of. James 1:17, last scripture. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above and cometh down from the Father of lights. That's talking about the Most High. Every good gift, every perfect gift coming from above. So everything we have, we got from Yahweh Shema Shah, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. In other words, the Most High is always the same. He doesn't show respect to persons. All right? You know, so with that, I'm going to close right there. I'm going to say, oh, praise Yahweh Shema Shah, double line, say, positive GMS. I hope you ever learn something. Shalom.